Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Tej Talks podcast. I used to have a different business. It was my first ever business, my first ever step, my first ever foray into entrepreneurship was in a recruitment business. I started this when I was 23, so we'll guess my age, but it would have been about 6 years ago now. So quite a while, quite a while ago. I want to talk you through costs of setting up, why I got into it, the income from it versus say property and versus other businesses that I've had, and looking at some of the pitfalls, with a recruitment business, and why I stopped and how much money I made. Now, why did I get into recruitment? Well, I had a job, I got fired from it, and I was essentially sick of working for someone else and not having my income be decided by me. But why are you deciding my income? I get it, there's a hierarchy, you start here, you work your way up, oh please I can have some more till you're 60 earning 70 grand and that's great. I was like, why can't I earn 70 grand now? I had a friend who had a recruitment business who was gonna help me, never got the help. But it was a job, it was a business that had very low startup costs, very low commitment, and there was quite a bit of competition to be fair. But as long as you had the product, i.e. good candidates, at that time anyway, because you can have candidate-driven markets or like client or company-driven markets. At that time, it was very much about if you've got the candidate, we'll bite your hand off, we'll sign your terms, whatever. We want to see this person. I think it's always going to be candidate-driven just because, there's always less skilled people than there are skilled jobs. There's always more work to do than there are people who can do it. So I got into it and I started off with rec to rec, right? Which is recruiting to recruiters for recruiters, recruiting recruiters. So I would recruit recruitment consultants to work for recruitment companies. This was one of the easiest ones to get into because you didn't need that much knowledge about a sector. I didn't have to say, yeah, I understand C++ coding, or yeah, A/B testing on Facebook ads, yeah, pixels, yeah, totally, dude. No, it was like, you want recruiters? I'm a recruiter, I get it, I get the job. I didn't, I was just starting out. Now, I had my first placement after, actually can't remember now. I'm gonna say it was a couple of weeks. It was fairly quick, it was under 2 months and kind of past, say, about 3 weeks. How did I do that? Well, like I said, it didn't need much money. It didn't need necessarily a huge commitment in terms of preparing stuff, equipment, things like that. But actually time-wise, yeah, it does take a big commitment. I understood that you need clients and you need candidates, right? You need the product and you need the customer. Although they kind of switch roles. Sometimes the product is the client, sometimes the customer, etc. I pretty much emailed, LinkedIn messaged, cold called anyone and everyone who has a recruitment business all over the UK, pitching for business. At the same time, in that first few weeks, every day I was maxing out on the number of LinkedIn invitations before they think you're a bot. You can only do a certain number a day. I was doing that every single day with these people, growing my business. And of course, just adding recruiters in general because they're my customers and my clients. And so I got with this company called Opus who, are they still around? I mean, I'm sure they are. They were absolutely killing it. Hard sales, a bit of a laddish culture. I assume it's different now. I don't know. Recruitment is recruitment. And I got in with them and the guy really liked me. I think it was Tom that I was in with, and he liked the way I operated. We had a laugh. Of course, I was one of many rent-to-rents he was working with because, why would you not? And yeah, I think I found him a client. I found him a candidate, a good recruiter. And the benefit about working with them is they were looking for graduates or entry level. And that made my life harder because it was harder to find, but harder to assess these people. Someone comes, I've got 4 years recruitment experience. I'll say, okay, how many people you placed, blah, 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 give me KPIs. Okay, cool. We can instantly kind of rank them or verify them. With a graduate, it's more based, or like a newbie, it's more based on their personality. However, what that meant was it wasn't as much headhunting, it was more job adverts, it was more looking through CV library. And so there's tools like that, like Indeed, CV library, Monster, where you can post jobs and you can look through CVs. And I'm sure there's others in little tech ones where you can swipe and all that stuff now. And there was a few back then. So I found him a good sort of entry level person. I had a few interviews, he liked him, he hired him. Great. I made, I want to say 3 grand, something like that. Not bad, right? Now, in terms of the money I had to put in to get that, it was a LinkedIn premium subscription, so 40 quid a month, 50 quid a month. I mean, I had a laptop, I had a screen, but you could say, okay, a couple of grand for a good laptop and a good screen, but you don't have to spend that much at all. You could do it from your phone, but I wouldn't. And then things like DocuSign and, if there's some Indeed job ads, you have to put a couple £100 on that. It really is a couple of £1,000 maximum. And if you've got kit, as in you have a home office and you're happy with it, then it's like the cost of software, LinkedIn, job adverts. They're really small costs, right? Like really, really small costs. In terms of the time, I was working, every day 9 to sort of 9, I would say. Obviously with breaks to eat, but 9 to 9 every single day. Now, was I that productive? No. Could I have worked less and done the same or more? Yes. I was new then. I had no idea about entrepreneurship, self-help, taking breaks, understanding my work. I didn't know anything about that. It was just, I've worked a job and it was 9 to 5, but now I've got to do 9 to 9 because that's what it is, and that's just what I did, right? And now, looking at that $3,000, that's great, right? And that's one placement. And this is an entry-level placement. So it's like, they're getting paid like 25 grand, perhaps, maybe a bit less. But also in recruitment, and this is a problem with rec to rec, is that their salaries are usually lower because their commissions are higher because it's a sales role. So I make less than if I was placing an engineer or a software developer or a marketer, because they usually tend to have salaries and then some few bits afterwards. Now, once I placed this one person, it kind of grew, and I could mention to other clients, hey, I'm working with the guys at Opus, hey, I'm working with the, and it just grew. And then I began to build a brand, which was really important, but I didn't do until maybe 6 months or a year into it. And even then, looking back at my brand, it could have been a lot better, like a lot better. There's so many things that I would do differently now with a brand that I really could create an incredible recruitment company brand right now, given the experience and knowledge I have from property and from TED Talks. But I didn't know what I didn't know. So I did what I did, and it worked, because every single year the turnover doubled, net profits doubled. It generated a bunch of cash, almost 6 figures, not a lot over 3 or 4 years, frankly, that I could then put into property. And towards the end of it, I went into contracting in-house with Wonderly, a kids book company in Babylon Health. You might use them on your phone as a GP. I built the marketing team. Yeah, the culture there was interesting. We had so much fun though, like the most fun. I paid a lot of money. I think I'm like $450 a day, $500 a day, a lot of money. But that was good. Simple as that. I hit the KPIs. I came in late every day. Doesn't matter. I built the teams that needed building. It is what it is, man. But going back to the beginning, what are some of the pitfalls of recruitment? So you have this thing called a rebate period, which totally makes sense. If you hire someone for a job and they leave within, say, a 3-month period, you have to give a percentage of that money back. The first few weeks, month, whatever, however you agree it, can be 100%, and then it drops on a sliding scale or a fixed kind of scale. So really, you make money until they've been there for 3 months, which, look, to be fair, most people do. When you have entry-level people, that's where maybe they struggle, especially in recruitment, when they can't hack it. They get fired, they get whatever. And the thing is, with a company, a lot of them, they won't say it to you, but it's a fact. If they know they got a rebate period with you, in their head, they're not thinking, yeah, we've got a 6-month probation. They're like, listen, we've got this fee that we can get back, we can claw back. So we're going to test this person in the first 2 weeks, and if they ain't good, we're going to return them. So sometimes you kind of want to give a longer rebate so that they don't do that and they don't feel that pressured, and the individual isn't that pressured, right? Because it kind of works out better. But that was annoying because you make money, but you actually haven't profited until 3 months down the line. Some people want 6 months. I get it, but my job is to find the person. Your job is to keep them and treat them right. Everyone hates you. You pick up the phone, 700th call today, I don't want to talk to you. Everyone hates recruiters. The customers, the client, everyone hates recruiters. They just do. Maybe the reps change now. I doubt it. People hate recruiters. Like personal trainers, like estate agents, like business brokers. Low barrier to entry means lots of shit people, right? If you can do something pretty easily, a lot of people are going to do it when they're not passionate about it, when they're not skilled enough to do it, because it's so easy to get into. That's why there's so many shit personal trainers and so many shit estate agents, because anyone can flip and get into it. It's not like being a doctor where you need 10 years of training, right? So, everyone hates you, and that's pretty soul crushing. Some people might see it as a challenge. I saw it as, you don't even know me, and you're instantly you're hating on me. But it is what it is, as I've said. It's a lot of hard work, cold calling, making X many calls a day, getting rejected, having people telling you you're an idiot, dealing with humans, I'm not turning up to interview, or going to interview, ruining their chances, leaving the job after 2 weeks, dealing with the human element. I didn't like him today in an interview, smelled a bit weird. There's so many things that can go wrong, and so many emotions and irrationality that is present in this business, that it really, really does get to you. And look, you can make good money. Like I said, $3,000 per placement on a low level. If you're doing executive search where you're headhunting BP, MDs and vice presidents at Barclays who are on 150, 200 grand, you're earning 10, 15, 20 grand a placement. So you do one a month. You're pretty happy because your net profit's going to be pretty high if you're a one man, one woman bat, So you got to look at it from that perspective. And even if you did smaller ones, $3,000 a month, again, how many do you need? 2? And you're already on probably 45, 50k net profit profit a year, that's pretty good. And then let's say you do make 100, 150, you can hire a recruiter who can do most of the work, and they'll easily pay for their own wages and then make you more money. And so I think it's a highly scalable, highly profitable business. Absolutely. I wish that I was like better at it. Well, I did pretty well. I wish I was better at it. I wish I was the kind of person who could do these cold calls and deal with all this crap all day, because I would have grown it and scaled it. And I did try to hire someone, didn't go very well. I didn't even know about virtual assistants at the time. That would have helped massively. But if I was someone who could do it, with the money that even more money I would have made, the success I would have had with it, would have built a company, and actually now I'm looking to buy recruitment businesses as part of my, M&A business buying. So if you got one for sale, you're thinking about it, come talk to me. But that's because I can run one, I'm not going to be recruiting myself, but I know how to run one, So those are the reasons that I didn't like it. And I think it taught me so much though, about how to accept rejection, how to cold call, how to sell, how to deal with human emotions, how to deal with people and crap, and balancing this and accounts and bookkeeping and keeping costs down and, networking. There was and to be fair, for those 3 or 4 years, I didn't network that much. Like I didn't really go to events. I just look back and think, if I went to events and if I was networking like I am now, shit, everything that would have been different. But it's fine, it's in hindsight, right? But I didn't, do what a lot of you are probably doing, like watching videos like this and going to events and meeting people. Just didn't really do that. And so yeah, maybe I would have had a different view on it, but that's why I got into it. That's how much money, how much time is required. That's the income versus other stuff. Those are some of the pitfalls, some of the things I don't like about it. And then, I stopped because I wanted to, invest in things, buy things, make money while I sleep, right? The classic line. But I just didn't want to keep exchanging time equals money. Time equals money. If I want to get up and bake bread, which I did this morning, by the way, did a single rise on the bread, not a double rise. Really nice, light, flavorful. I might start doing single rises. So that's why I got out of it. And that's also why, and one of the reasons I started in-house recruiting, because it was easier. We'd get a straight salary without having to fight for a replacement. I was getting sick of it, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought, let me just try and switch it up. But also get in with some companies that, hey, maybe I could have another business with, and get into an office full of humans and have some banter and some fun and some contact, right? As opposed to sitting here working from home alone. So look people, recruitment business, there we go. If you are interested in learning more, you can book in a call and we can do some sessions together. I can get you started and set up with a recruitment business. But otherwise, I have just released my branding course. Go and check it out, people. You want to build a brand? This is the only thing you need.